as usual. Alright, there we go. And welcome. This is Nuke Marine presenting Let's Learn Japanese, course series for the self-study Japanese from basics and beginnings up to intermediate, hopefully advanced. This is going to be a Let's Read Japanese, so up above is going to be the audio will be playing that I'll be reading to, in this case Steins Gate episodes 19 and 20. Off to the side is the text I'll be reading, in this case rips of the subtitles, and if I read along and if I see a word or a phrase I don't know, I pause the audio, look up the meaning real quick in a Yomi-chan, a pop-up dictionary, and then continue on after that. Nothing too difficult. It's kind of fun. Yesterday I was trying a little experiment, not online, but something I'm thinking about doing, which is I'll start doing starting off the Let's Reads maybe once a week. I'll do, instead of reading in the news, I'm going to do instead take an older light novel that audiobook that I had, and then essentially do a shadowing where I hear it and then repeat it. And right now it's going to be direct, like mimicking, I think is the right word. I think shadowing is like you're repeating it as they're speaking, whereas I'm going to do is pause it, repeat the line. So hear the line, repeat the line, and go in that way. So I tried that yesterday. It seemed okay. So I think I can do it. I'm not going to like read an entire book that way, but like, essentially just do like every 20 to 30 minute intervals of the audio, then start off there and do it up to whatever the 30-minute mark in my particular broadcast is. So it'll get through the book quickly because I won't be doing the whole book, but it should be fun. And depending on how fast I start, then I can only do like at most like 10 or 15 minutes of audio total per section. And I'm not going to do it with live action dramas, because again, there's like the audio's not consistent. I'll put it that way. So there might be long pauses or music, or it just it could be interesting, but I think it's better if I do it with audiobooks, just because it's just a single voice. Now, there is a downside in that the audiobooks I have, the first two are mainly female. The third one is male and female, and then the Harry Potter one it's male. I'm kind of uncomfortable doing the Harry Potter one if it ever gets that far, because but it should be alright. He's definitely got a voice. It's much easier to talk like, to use as a mimicking, unless he's doing like the Hermione voice. What else am I thinking? Yeah, and again, this is just about, as I mentioned, as consistency. I'm not consistent. I am not consistent. So like this particular anime, I should have been done with it last month, or close to it. You look at when it started. We're in July now. It started in June, because it's like I had like a couple times where I went almost a week in between doing these, and I'm also not very good at doing this offline. So if this was so again, this is like the only experience I really have with trying to consume Japanese at a higher level of comprehension. And I think I like calling this. That's another thing I wanted to quickly mention. Like, you hear MIA, mass immersion approach, and again, I think the problem has been like immersion has become a loaded term. Like when AJAT was using it, he just used it as just an all-companies thing, like have Japanese playing all the time. So yeah, that is immersion. We hear it with the Rosetta Stone. They just meant you just learn Japanese. You only use the language to learn the language. Like, so you use a lot of pictures. It wasn't immersive learning. So it was a buzzword. There you go. Yeah, immersion has kind of like been a buzzword in the language learning community, especially with products. But I think when you look at what MIA is, actually they're saying like consuming. Now there is like, hey, always have Japanese playing, but it's like when you're trying to make a constant, concerted effort to comprehend what you're reading or comprehend what you're listening to. So you're consuming it. It's not just present. So when I use the term like oral snacking, like if you have something playing in the background that you've had the ability to comprehend, and so when you do pay attention to it, you're able to actually get something from it. So hence the oral snacking. It's within reach, and you can go and quickly grab it if you want to, if you're paying attention to it. So yeah, consuming, and again, and there's so many levels of terms. So what you see I'm doing is like, it's almost like studying. I think I've mentioned that before. But I am trying to consume the material. It's just that I guess the way you can look at it is like, usually you want your food served to you in bite-sized pieces. Like if you've ever had Japanese food, that's kind of how they do it. A lot of things are served so you can just grab with a piece of chopstick, put in your mouth. Okay, so it's, you know, it's at a level where you can easily digest. But if you're served a piece of steak, you know, sometimes you got to cut that up and then slowly digest it. So that could be, you know, you could look at that like that's like looking up a, you know, a particular meaning of a word or having a situation explained to you. You're basically having someone prep that for you because you're not ready to consume it yourself as it's being served to you, if that makes sense. Yeah. So a lot of this stuff is about, you know, when you're doing this prepackaged material, you know, this is stuff that's been cooked for you. And again, it's going to be good for your development. I'm probably taking this metaphor a little too far, but just the idea is that, you know, if you just were watching this on TV, even with TV with subtitles, I'm not saying English, I'm talking like Japanese subtitles, so Japanese audio, Japanese subtitles, you get some comprehension just by looking at it. But if there's a word you missed and you don't know what that word is, I mean, a lot of times, especially with a lot of words outside of basics, you're not going to get too much comprehension. Some things are, you have to be explained what words mean. I remember that in school with English, like, you know, these are English words, but you still got to be explained what they are or what they mean. You know, like the term propaganda, proselytize, well, communication, but communicable, you know, something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to think back at 6th grade when they, you know, had that list of English words that we'd be tested on, either how to spell it and how they were supposed to be used. So that's true in your own native. I mean, that could be true in your native language. And a good thing to improve it is you're probably better at your native language if you read a lot in your language. Because people watch TV all the time, and that doesn't necessarily improve their ability. But I think with reading, it ups the effectiveness of what you're getting out of it. But I also know from experience, people who've only read in a language and never was speaking in it or never was listening to it, their pronunciation is horrible. I've seen that with students because I teach English in Japan sometimes for fun, in a way, and I've had students that are just amazing in English, and they almost inevitably, it's always been they watch stuff and read stuff in English, but you know, mainly they're watching stuff in English. With the children who are also good in English, but only from a reading standpoint, like they read every day, their pronunciation is really bad. And then there's one exception. There was one girl who was very hyper, really wanted, not hyper, I'm sorry, she was very motivated, really enjoyed using English, but her pronunciation was horrible. But it wasn't because of reading or anything. It's just that her mom, who's Japanese, was telling her, was practicing with her, so she was picking up how her mom pronounced English badly. So obviously you could tell she understood she understood the material and what it meant to read it, but she was just, again, just pronouncing it badly. Again, that was just from personal experience with children and even some adults that are learning English, you know, as a native. And again, the reverse is normally true, so you can apply these concepts in a different way. It's just that almost inevitably the ones that are best are the ones who are watching watching stuff in English and reading stuff in English, and they're doing it for fun, not for study. Usually like either Nickelodeon or Disney cartoons and whatnot. But they had to get that point where they can comprehend it. There was another one, her problem, and she's an adult though, is that she never went around to trying to figure out what she was listening to, so it was all noise. So she was listening to a lot. It was Adventure Time, I think, but this is an adult lady. But she wasn't trying to understand it sentence by sentence, kind of like what I would do with Japanese. And I tried to get her to do that, but you know, it was hard to convince her. Like, you know, just, you know, look, I tried, and this is one of those things where I tried to explain to her, like, you have to do this work on your own. You can't be expecting 1 hour a week to get a lot out of this. You know, instead of me trying to teach you 1 hour, let me teach you how to teach yourself. So now you've got, you know, 2 hours a day or an hour or two a day, you know, trying to improve yourself. Because she's had the motivation, she's got you know, Adventure Time's a very long cartoon series, so she could get a lot. It's probably not the best cartoon series for learning English because it's very abstract in quite a lot of ways. But again, it's better than nothing. And if you know, if you got something that they're excited about, you don't want to, you know, miss that. But she forgot that one major step, or she refused that one major step, which is, well, now you got to kind of figure out what each of these lines mean. Yeah, so there was that. It was just hard because I've even asked her, like, she wouldn't do any work outside of the 1 hour that she was showing up, because like every other Japanese adult, she's fucking busy. She's got no time. So there you go. The little time she wheedled out to be able to study English was, again, unfortunately has me saying, well, okay, this isn't enough time. And yeah. Oh well, anyway. That said, let's get started. Let's read the news. Alright, guys. Yeah, there's a lot of people watching. Well, not a lot. I mean, 6 people. So hey, guys. How are you doing? Alright, so let's start with the news. And again, viewer discretion is advised for this part. I don't decide what news articles are read unless it's over, 2 minutes longer or something. But some of the subject matter pops up. It upsets me. I'll put it that way. If you see my video a couple of days ago, I'm like cringing at what I was hearing on the news report, and kind of went into a very long diatribe about it. Yeah. Who cares? Let's get started. You've been warned. Alright, let's refresh. See what we got. Stop that. Okay, title. Okay, title. Is this about ego? Or shogi, I mean? Fujishin. Okay. Fujishin ki. Kisei. Fujishin kisei. Koukou sotsugyou daijoubu. Authorization, organization. Okay, here we go.
Fujii新規生が通う名古屋大学教育学部附属高校は
Okay, there we go. 通う名古屋大学卒業学部。
担任や校長らが記者会見。
本日、新聞記事をコピーさせていただきまして、クラスの方で、広めをしました。そこで、クラスから拍手がありました。
こちらも祝福モードですが、連日のタイトル戦で学校に通えていないという藤井新規生。出席日数が足りなくなるのではないか気になりますが。
Yeah, this is matching up too well.
そうですね、他の学生と同じですので、もしそうなればそんなことがあると思います。
高校生棋士が留年の危機？いやいや、ご安心ください。高校によると、タイトル戦は欠席扱いにならないため、現状出席日数は足りているとのこと。
補充をしたり、補習をしたりっていうことを学校としてやることによって、研究したり、卒業したり、そういったことをしてやっています。
本人がですね、次いつ登校するか なんですけども、投稿しましたらおめでとうと伝えて、と思っております。
Yeah, that was kind of difficult because of it was trying to follow the transcript wasn't exactly matching up, but yeah, for the most part, it got a little easier at the end. Okay, yeah, and that happens when you got professional competitors that have to also attend school. Since he's like 18 or something, he's like really young. Okay.
昨日、藤井七段がタイトルに王手をかけて臨んだ棋聖戦の第4局。
Am I missing something?
いや、上がりましたね。
現役最強と称される渡辺。
Let's try this again. Try a different one. I shouldn't have done that anyway. It was like 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Just recently. 最近、つまりリニアが大阪まで開通してからになるわけですが、日本を訪れるときはここが私たちプロジェクトチームの常宿になっています。ここを拠点に三大都市を巡ることになります。不便を感じたことは。
こちらは JR が作成した動画です。リニアの開通で海外のビジネスマンが山梨県の旅館を拠点に東京や大阪を行き来する。
What is with these news articles? Am I missing something?
の EEZ 日本の最南端に位置する沖ノ鳥島周辺の EEZ では今月9日。
Maybe I was just missing something. Okay. Those are the Okinawa Islands? Or Okino Torishima. Kinsan. Okay. Insert ship. Togi. 法的根拠法的根拠Rebuttal, right? 返す Yeah, rebuttal 反発
日本の最南端に位置する沖
周辺の日本の EEZ What is that? EEZ equals economic something zone economic exclusive economic zone okay 排他的経済水域排他的経済水域 EEZ 排他的経済水域で中国船汎用調査海洋調査と講義法的根拠反発しました。Alright, now we can do it.
日本の最南端に位置する沖ノ鳥島周辺の EEZ では
最南端の位置する
今月9日から17日まで中国の海洋調査船が事前の同意がないまま
調査船が Okay, so research vessel 調査船が事前の同意がない
調査とみられる活動を行っていて、日本政府は即時に中止すべきだと抗議しています。
即時の中止すべきと抗議しています。
これについて中国側は、
因为根据联合国海洋法公约，冲之鸟礁是礁，不是岛。它
国連海洋法省的United Nations Law 国連okay 海洋法上的によると
不能够拥有。
沖ノ島I think that was that right there. 沖ノ鳥島大陸だなすることができない日本側で日本側だと一方的な主張ownership continued ownership assertion claim okay 主張には法的根拠がない
专属经济区和大陆架，日方的单方面的主张是没有法律依据的。
中国外務省の華春瑩報道官はこう反論した上で、中国側の科学調査船がこの海域で作業することは公海上での科学調査の自由を行使することで日本側の許可を得る必要はないと主張しました。一方、会見の終わりには新たに着任した王文賓報道官が紹介されました。
報道官
我已经有27年的外交
外国との交際 OK、international relations diplomacy OK 外交のministry press officer OK 報道官として紳士交流したい
工作经历，但作为外交部发言人，我还是一个新人。我将努力向我的前任们学习，真诚地和记者朋友们沟通交流。
チュニジア大使を務めるなどアフリカ勤務が長いという王報道官は来週から記者会見に登場するということです。
All right, got enough for maybe one more. K2 White Mouse stream earlier. Yeah, I decided it's a Saturday and I should start streaming earlier because what's been happening is I'd wake up and I'd waste so much time on the internet, like YouTube or Reddit, and then that just ends up just bleeding away time. So this is better if you do something like this. Get this started as early as possible and then worry about the fun stuff on the internet later. That would be the best situation. Like, do the essentials and then put the fun stuff later. If you put the fun stuff ahead of time, then that's going to eat a lot of time. And I hope if all goes right, if you do it right, then actually the fun stuff becomes even more fun because now you've got a limited time. Whereas you do it at the beginning of the day, you feel like you got all the time in the world, but then that time goes away. Now you feel like, oh, now you feel guilty because you wasted a day or something. So I'm guilty of that. I'm really guilty of that. Oh wow, that's 7 minutes. I'm not looking at that. That's 4 minutes. Let's see, 35 seconds for sure. Okay, let's see what that is.
今月14日、大雨洪水警報が。
Okay. Okay, so that's Keiho. Oh wow. 50 kids and the teacher and 50 students were on the rising banks of the water. Came back. Okay, that's sightseeing. Okay.
洪水警報。今月14日、大雨洪水警報が出ている。
大雨洪水大雨洪水警報大雨洪水警報が出ている広島市の
長塚小学校の教師が
長塚高校小学校
5年生の児童およそ50人を連れて増水した川の堤防を歩き。
That's the embankment, right? The dike, the bank. Yeah. 堤防を歩き。
ポンプ場を見学しました。
ポンプ。I think that's the pump location. I don't think that. ポンプ場。ポンプ場を見学しました。
不安に思われる保護者の方もおられたということで、市教の方から指導がありましたし、私も反省をしております。
当時川の水位はおよそ5メートルあり、河川敷は見えなくなっていました。
河川敷が見えなくなる。
学校側は児童や保護者に謝罪しています。
Apologies. 議論やstudents and their guardians. Okay, so yeah, they're saying this teacher is, I'm assuming they're saying this teacher, and therefore the school itself, was at fault for trying to take these children to go on a sightseeing tour during essentially what's going to be flooding. So it put them in danger because, again, the floodplain was you already see it's covered. You see how close they are. It could have been just real quickly a flash stream. Could have started to also drag kids away. There's a lot of kids for one student as well, if I'm seeing that correctly. No, there's a few adults in that picture, it looks like, but still, that's, okay. What's the time right now? It's almost 30 minutes. Alright, we'll call that a day for the news. Alright, let's get started. Now, I apologize, that was not a very good news reading time. Usually they're better than that. Maybe it's because right now it's like a rainy morning, so it just probably looks like it's nighttime right now with the, how dark it is with the reflection off the glasses and whatnot, just because there's like no light. It's like overcast outside, like heavy rains. Alright, let's get started. Alright, turn the volume down to 30. Let's do it. There's no audio, or there's no dialogue, so this is all visuals. We'll still watch it though. Okay. Is she under mind control or something? Okay, and to 202. Alright, so endless apoptosis. Apoptosis. Oh, I'm doing a video thing.
お腹ペコペコだよ。
コミマって明日も。
明日も行くんだな。
え？うん。
帰りはこのくらいか。
多分。そうだ、クリスチャンも行く？
人が多いところは苦手だから。
2日目はそんなに多くないと思うよ。ねえ、オカリも一緒に。
岡部、ちょっと。何なのよ、帰ってからずっとムスッとしちゃって。真由里が気を使って話しかけてんのが分かんないの？
分かってる。でも落ち着いていられるか。明日だぞ。今日は無事でも明日。何度目だお前にこうやって。
岡部、
聞いてほしいことがある。
Let's see. Mugen Densa. That's a lock, connecting locks without barriers or without I think barrier limits, without limitations.
真由里が明日？
おそらく死ぬ。初めは13日の夜だった。それが D メールを一つ取り消すたびに1日ずつ伸びていって、俺は明日コミマについていく。
I'm trying to remember. It was comic not the comic meetup.
助ける手段があるの？
真由里のその時を見届ける。
そんな。
この世界線での正確なデッドラインを知っておきたいんだ。その上でもう一度タイムリープして。他に手はない。
次に取り消すのは桐生萌香っていう人のメールだったわよね。
桐生萌香。桐生萌香。桐生萌香。So what is that? That's the what's it supposed to be? Joseph tree? The Joshua tree, right? Bologna. Yeah, way off. Bologna tree. I was thinking of the apostles. I remember it's like these are Apostle Joshua or the Apostle Paul. So okay, Bologna tree. By the way, just a heads up, when you get to the point in RTK where you're having to learn trees, use pictures. That's gonna be it. And then also realize that a lot of the times you're going to run into those kanjis in people's names, and there you probably want to use that, like I was mentioning, the kunyomi mnemonics chart, to where, yeah, it's ki, so you just want to think of tree, so kiryu, even though obviously it's Polonia, and then ryu, anyway. Yeah, you're gonna really hate Japanese names when it comes to, if you ever have to get to a point you gotta memorize them.
そうだ、内容も分かってる。過去の自分に携帯の機種変をやめさせたんだ。
機種変、携帯の機種変やめ。
今回はあいつの携帯から送らないと。
岡部はその人を探して。ゴミ間には私がついていく。
お前、
うまくいけば真由里の、そうなる前になんとかなるかも。
分かってるのか。もし萌香を見つけられなかったらその時は
すぐに連絡する。それから何でも話してくれていいから、どんなことでもいつでも私に相談して。
ああ、お前は今までも。
忘れないで、あなたはどの世界線にいても一人じゃない。私がいる。
That's a good line. 一人じゃない、私がいる。どこにいても。
今有明。
え？上司、今有明。
すごい人だかり、想像以上だった。
想像以上。
助けて。
萌香から返信はないがバイト先を見つけた。そっちを調べてみ。
So arc rewrite. Arc. I was thinking of saying arc light, so arc rewrite. So rewriting of the time arcs, I guess. That's the problem when you just go only off of hiragana or off the katakana loan words, like you. Especially when it's odd shit like that, or arc rewrite.
見る。
了解。無理はしないで。
無理はしないで。
桐生萌香。あ、
桐生萌香。
ああ、前に2、3日来て辞めたバイトがそんな名前だったっけ？住所？わかるけど、君何？
了解。桐生萌香が自殺？間違いないんですか？
ああ、
いつです？
昨日の夜、ご遺体は千代田第三病院に運ばれている。
千代田。Okay, so it's a location. Chiyoda Dai-san Byoki. So the third hospital in Chiyoda. Chiyoda Dai-san Byoki.
身寄りが誰もいないみたいでね。
どんな。
待ってたんだよ。あ、君大丈夫か？
自殺。なんで？仲間に殺された。真由里を殺す前に。でも理由なんてどうでもいい。このままじゃ真由里が。タイムリープ。萌香が死ぬ前にタイムリープして。もしもし。
岡部。
デッドラインは19時52分。すまなかった。
So we're going back to August 11th?
ああ、岡部、これ食べちゃったの？ここ見なさいよ。ちゃんと書いてあるでしょ、マキセって。ちょっと聞いてるの？忘れないで。あなたは一人じゃない。
そうだったな、クリス。
あんた今なんて。
桐生萌香という女を知っているか？
え？誰？
俺はタイムリープしてきた。
え？どういうこと？
Heights, White Heights.
桐生萌香。
言われた通りにやったのに。
俺だ、岡部だ。
命令ちょうだい、
聞こえないのか？おい！
It's gonna look bad if someone walks in on that.
許さない。俺があいつを。
Jesus.
返して。マキセ、携帯は？
奪い取った。 D メールの設定を頼む。
できてる。何の音？
気にするな。それより参りは
ブランカン工房42型は点灯中よ。
Who's it? Who's she sitting with? Oh, okay.
クリス、起動してくれ。
Wait a minute. 機周変するすぎ。
これで最後だ。こいつを送れば前よりも。
Oh, then this electric discharge sound, but yeah.
なんだ、何も起こらない。どうだ？
送ったの？
送った。ちゃんと作動したのか？
放電現象は起こった。どうしたの？
リーディングシュタイナーが発動しない。リーディングシュタイナーが発動しない。なぜだ？
ちょっと。 なんなの？
やっぱりダメだ。
D メールは受け取った相手次第で効果が左右される。
相手次第。Next, okay, the opponent's response.
岡部の文章じゃ桐生萌香の行動は変えられないってこと？
じゃあどうすれば。変わってない。あいつ機種変なんかしてなかったんだ。
どういうこと？ちゃんと確認したんでしょ
？4日前に携帯の機種変更したけど変えない方が良かったって自分に伝えたい。
直前に別のメールを打って送ったんだ。
そんな D メールの内容はわからないってこと？
That sign saying, it looks like it's Chinese, so I can't really reply to it.
着信履歴が残っているはずだ。今調べて。
どうした岡部？岡部！
かけ直す。
ちょっと何やってんの？ったく何してんだか。
Okay. It's gonna be bad when that lady walks in on this. It's gonna look really bad.
ちょっと。ったく最近のカップルときたら。
That's what her takeaway? That's her takeaway? Okay.
怖い怖い。
最近のカップル。Oh!
どうしたら返してくれる？
D メールを送ったことを覚えているか？
D 何
？2週間前奇妙なメールを受け取ったはずだ。未来の自分から。
どうして？
内容を教えろ。そしたら返してやる。どうした？言えないのか？ IBN5100 にラウンダーに関係することが。図星か答えろ。
図星 Constellations 図星Makes sense. 図星か。
メールの内容は携帯を返してほしくないのか？
裏切れない。
誰を？ FB ってやつか？
私の指示は FB から来る。FB は私のすべて。
そいつがお前たちの指揮官か？
大戦 Yeah, yeah. So it's not Arabic. It's yeah, Japanese. I'm speaking English, obviously, or maybe not so obvious. You don't speak English.
裏切れないか。結構な忠誠心じゃないか。だがな。
忠誠心。結構な忠誠心じゃない。
その FB とやらはお前のことなんかどうでもいいらしい。お前はこのまま FB に捨てられるんだ。
そんなことない。
連絡がないんだろう。お前は裏切られたんだ。切り捨てられたんだよ。違う FB はそん
な人じゃない。FB は私を助けてくれた。
お前は利用されたんだ。なんで俺にそんなことが言えるかわかるか。
FB はお母さんみたいな人。どんな仕事ですか。
俺は一種のタイムマシンを持っている。未来から来たメールが証拠だ。
私にもできますか。私を必要としてくれた。働いたことありません。特にも何もありません。
特技も何もありません。
その俺が見てきたんだよ。お前は4日後お前はこの部屋で自殺する。FB からの連絡を待ったまま一人孤独にここで死ぬんだ。
嘘。
本当だ。もう FB から連絡なんて来やしない。捨てられたんだよお前は。
嘘。
いつから返事が来ていない。ずっと待ち続けたろ。
Are you in Japan? Yeah, I live in Japan. Bowser, I started learning kanji today. Good on ya. And Caillou. Okay, add oil. Okay. Whatever that means.
おかしいと思わないか。お前は死ぬんだ。ここで。この薄暗い空っぽの部屋で。マユリを殺したお前はここで一人で捨てられて裏切られてゴミくずみたいに命を絶つんだ。誰もお前を
That's wait, different tatsu. Make sure.
次なんか来ない FB もな。
Dyson, what is Caillou in Japanese? I don't know. I just know the kanji is like add and oil. That's about it. So it might be a name. If you know, I don't know. I don't think I remember seeing it. Go-Q, right? Go-Q, yeah. Go-Q. Yeah, that'd be like insane.
悪かった。母親って言ってたな。 FB ってのは女なのか？多分
会ったことない。会いたくない。会えばきっと幻滅させる。
From a phantom? You forget Genmetsu. Disillusioned. Become disillusioned. Genmetsu saseta. That's saying, is anime a good resource for learning Japanese? I don't think, starting off you just want to learn the basics. Then after that, any Japanese is actually be a good resource. It's not really learning Japanese, it's consuming it, and then through the process of that you get better. So I do live action dramas, light novels, and also in this case I've been doing a series of anime, but yeah, there's nothing like bad about any one thing. Biggest thing is, of course, you got to get those basics down. So you got get it to a minimum of like 1,000 kanji, most common kanji, and 2,500 most common words in Japanese. If you're a native Chinese speaker and you know Chinese quite well, then that be sure though when you learn words, learn how it's pronounced in Japanese, and because it's really hard, because you got to make sure, because you're seeing words, you know what they mean, but you're going to pronounce them wrong, just because obviously you pronounce them in Chinese as opposed to Japanese. So make sure as you practice both sides, where you hear a word in Japanese, you know what it means, and you know what kanji goes with it, and then it's the opposite, when you see a word, you know how to pronounce it in Japanese. But you should be able to learn that much faster than like someone like me who had to go from English to Japanese. So yeah, just remember that part, and don't lean on your skills too much, because be careful about leaning on your skills too much, because remember, you still got to learn Japanese, and that's what I think probably there's quite a few Chinese people that fall into that trap, because you actually can comprehend quite a bit of Japanese once you learn the grammar rules, but you won't be speaking it properly because you aren't doing the whole listen. You're just leaning only on reading, so just be wary about that. How long have you been in Japan? 12 years, about, give or take.
その様子じゃ電話もしたことないか。よくそんな奴の言いなりに。
居場所をくれた私。
居場所？
Living place.
Baka. お前は。
レトロ。
岡部、心配させんな。
心配してくれたのか。
心配なんかしてない。
すまない。
それでじゃあ IBN5100 を盗み出したのは
萌え方。
今どこにあるの？
それ以上は何も。予定通り D メールを取り消す。
7月31日の午前11時頃ね。起動した。
今度こそ。
ない。
なぜだ。
どう？
ダメだ。
過去の桐生萌香が D メールを信じなかったのか。念のため初めの D メールに従ったのか。別の文面でもう一度。
いや、おそらく萌香を動かせるのはあいつだけだ。あいつの携帯からメールを送ることができれば無条件で従うはず。
あいつって
俺は FB を探す。何か居場所に心当たりはあっても話すわけないか。
さっき言ってた私が誰かを殺したって未来のこと。
ああ、 FB の命令ならやるんだろ
やる、きっと。
利用されていると分かってもか。そうやって依存したまま捨てられて死んでいくんだ。4日後8月15日、お前の死はこの世界によって決められている。避けられやしない。だが俺はそんなのごめんだ。俺は世界に抗う。まゆりを。
Arigato? Arigato? Let's see if that's a phrase. Sakarao. Go against? Arigato. Goes against my whole world. Fight against it. Arigato.
必ず救ってみせる。
Coin locker. Oh, coin locker. Coin locker.
コインロッカー。大ビル前。IPN5100。
Alright. So it wasn't really, there was like a lot of non-dialogue in that, so very little pausing. Alright, let's bring up the next episode. Episode 20. And 4 more episodes left after this, so hopefully be done with this soon. If all goes well. Screwed that up. Let's try again. There we go. Okay, I saw some of your YouTube videos. I enjoyed. Oh, okay, cool. I assume you're talking. If you're starting kanji, then yeah, I did a YouTube series on for about learning 1100 kanji. So that's some people have actually finished that series. So that is good. It's about 70 hours long, so it's a lot. I mean, it's quite an investment, but you know, some people have gotten a lot of use out of that. Part of me feels like I want to remake it. I mean, it won't be much of a change, but just remake it because I made a slight change in the order of kanji. So it's more like, how to say this, it's, if you haven't seen what I've done before, I've taken the scans of 5,000 Japanese books. There's been a text scan of those, Japanese text analysis. And there was, not only did I scan of like the total number of kanji counts, but how many sources that these kanji appeared. And in about 5,000 books, it came up to 6,300 kanji. And I did what's called a tethered sort, so it's not only just by frequency, but also by within, also about how many different sources it appears in. So a book that appears in 5,000 sources would be ranked higher than a kanji that only appears in like 5 sources, for example, within reason. So it's tethered to how many sources it is, but mostly it's about frequency. So it's a frequency list, and I did group it by 500s. So first set of 500, the most common, if you do a frequency analysis, it comes up to those are used 75% of the time. The next set of 500 are used 15% of the time, so about 1. So still very important. So those 1,000 in total is 90%. The next set of 500 is used 5% of the time. So, but again, those 1,500 total is 95%. That's a really good amount of kanji to have for when you're doing like the type of stuff I'm doing here. And the next set's about roughly around 3% or so. A little less than that, but yeah, about roughly 3%. So that's 2,000 kanji gets you up to around about 97.5 to 98%. And then the next 500 is like maybe 1%. Just, you know, very small amount. And then the one after that, 500, is like 0.5%. So 3,000 kanji gets you to about 98.5 to 98.8% of all kanji that are used in novels. And then the remaining 3,300 kanji are used like 0.2% of the time right, from 0.5 to 0.2% of the time. It's a very small amount. So that's the reason why it's like I did in these orders. So it's like the order of RTK is really good because it's done in what's called primitive order. So it allows you to visually learn them and help visually distinguish them. But you also want to have use of it. So that's why I do it in frequency groupings, but kanji component order. So, and that turned out to be very useful for some people who do it in the order which I recommend, because then they can get into Japanese a lot faster, and they don't feel like they're wasting time learning a kanji that people are telling, well, why are you learning that kanji? It's so rare. Well, you're not learning it. You just skip over that kanji, and you come back to it because it will become important later as your abilities improve in Japanese. Same thing with vocabulary. So you learn, but vocabulary I'm more hesitant to do anything with, so that's why I leave it to professional publishers like the Tango or Genki or whatever you want to use for vocabulary. But I do say that, again, the first 1,000 words is going to be used like 50% of the time. The next set of 1,500 words is like 15%, so from 15 to 15. And then the set after that's used like next 2,000 words are used only 10% of the time. Again, it's the way you see it, like you got to learn a lot more words, and it just covers a smaller percentage of the total use in language, but they're still very important because of the variety of what type of information you're going to be running into. So yeah, just 40, I think it's like 40,000 unique vocabulary words that can get you up to 95%, and that's like maybe like your average Japanese adult may comprehend 40,000 words. That doesn't mean you need to learn, like add into Anki and do a lot. Just by doing this reading, you can pick up a lot of vocabulary. Just by consuming Japanese, you pick up a lot of these random materials because you learn it through context. But you learn it because, again, it's telling you what these words mean, or through the context that this word's being used, you understand how that is. And then you can also do it through direct studying as well. So that's why we've got, I set up in that way. So learn hiragana, katakana, 1,000 most common vocabulary words. Then learn 500 kanji, then the next 1,500 vocabulary words. Another 500 kanji, the next 2,000 vocabulary words. Another 500 kanji, then the next 2,500 vocabulary words. Then another 500 kanji, the next 3,000 vocabulary words. 500 kanji and 16,000 vocabulary words. All right, so now you're up to, now when you learn the 500 kanji, you're up to 3,000 kanji, and that's going to take you to 26,000 words if you want to learn up directly to that. And this doesn't mean like words that you add to Anki. This is just if you do something like Morphman and you're telling it what words you know. Now it's actually kind of fun because now you've got this counter called the K, which is no morphs, and as that gets higher, it's like you realize like your knowledge is objectively getting better, even if your number of cards in Anki is not as high as you would want it to be, just because you're doing like what I'm doing here, where I'm reading Japanese text, listening to it and reading it and looking up what the words mean. I kind of learn those words, even though I haven't taken that word, added into Anki and done testing there. So Anki's important and useful, but it doesn't mean like just because it's not in Anki doesn't mean you don't know it. You can still know it outside of Anki. Anki's there is useful for definitely for words that don't stick. If they don't stick, Anki's really useful for those. And then so the words that stick through this immersion or consuming a native material, awesome. And after that, use Morphman, find the words that weren't sticking, and boom, now you've got a really good build-up. So that's why you want to do both. So this whole reading to Japanese audio and then looking up the words you don't know, really helpful. And you're going to get people, maybe not so much outside of 4chan, but you may occasionally hear people say, well, you should just watch because you get used to listening. This is not all I do. But let's say treat this as study time and do this like study time, then you're fine. Then just watch Japanese for fun, and I think you'll be fine. But I think of the type of experience of Japanese media, this is going to be the best that'll grow your abilities the fastest, because you see something you don't know and you look it up. And you're not wasting too much time. You're just looking at what it means, and then you're going on. If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, you look it up again. All's well. If it doesn't come up again and it didn't stick, well, it wasn't that important anyway. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But anyway, let's go on to the next episode. Alright, so it's roughly about 1 hour 10 minutes. That last one took about 30 minutes. K2, K white mouse. Do you think a language major in university is less useful than immersion? Well, and again, I'm not saying immersion, I'm saying consuming in. That could help if you're the type of person that can't like sit your ass down in a chair and do this on your own. If you can do this on your own, you probably don't need a language major. Plus, let's face it, language major means colleges, the main idea behind colleges is you're learning material to the ability to where you can teach it. All right. Otherwise, you want to go what's called a vocational school, where you're learning material to use it, if that makes sense. So that's the reason why people, because the only place you could really get into Japanese is through college, but college isn't teaching you to really learn Japanese, they're teaching you to teach Japanese. To teach us, become a professor in that, or become a major or a PhD in that course of study. That's the main goal of colleges. They're trying to build more scholars. But if you're trying to learn Japanese to use it, well, you want the equivalent of vocational school. That's sometimes like a language school, where you're trying to learn the language to then use it to watch Japanese shows or talk in Japanese. Not necessarily study literature in Japanese for the purposes of, or translating for academic works. I could be wrong. I mean, that's just my interpretation, but that's a rough interpretation of the way I understood colleges to be. And this problem is, like, in recent decades, they felt like colleges were an end in of themselves. Like, if you need to go to college. Whereas if you look at people who do be successful in life, you look at people who went to the equivalent of vocational, where they learn something in order to put it to use to then go to work. They actually got very successful jobs, and they're really good, and they're very skilled and knowledgeable in their area of expertise. So, I mean, they've got a lot of knowledge, but it's not in what you would say is scholastic, but it's just like, hey, they're putting rubber to the road type thing. So it's high skilled, even in high knowledge, but it's not in an academic sense. So it depends on how you want to look at it. Like I said, I haven't taken a course of Japanese course or language course in college. All right, and maybe people who've done that are much better in Japanese than I am. I don't know. It's hard to compare levels. My reading abilities may be higher than what theirs would be, for example. But their ability to maybe randomly create a Japanese sentence that might make sense might be higher. I don't know. It's hard to compare abilities in that way. But it's just that, really, in the end of it, I don't care. I'm having fun using Japanese. That's really what this is all about. Because I live in Japan. The better I understand the language, the better more fun I seem to have in the country. That's just how I look at it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that, going into a little long spiel. But yeah, let's get started. But it's up to you. Like I said, don't let a stranger on the internet tell you how to lead your life. If you're gonna be, but I just know usually for most people, college is an expensive avenue. And if you're applying it towards an investment for something in the future, I don't think you're going to get much return on investment being a language major. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Like, probably the last person who made money being a language major in college was your professor, to kind of put it in a joking manner. You don't need to go to have a language major to be a translator. You can do what I'm doing here, but then make an effort, on some people who do translations by just translating stuff. Especially if you are skilled in another area, then you do technical translations. Those are very in demand. I mean, less so with deep learning coming into play, but even then you still need to have that. It's still at the point where you still need to have that second set of eyes on it, to make it really make sure, hey, this is what they're trying to get across. Yeah. Anyway, because like I said, I mean, I could be doing like here, translating what I'm reading, and that could be if you do that daily, you get better at translating. And the cool thing is, like, if you wanted to translate something like anime, is that it's already been translated, so you can then you can compare your results against a person's translation. So now you can have a good idea if you're doing good or not, and make corrections like, oh, okay, that's how they do it, and you just get better and better. And just do it every day. If you do it for like an hour or two a day, in a year's time, that's anywhere from 300 to 700 hours worth of real world effort that you put into it. You're going to be good at it, or quite skilled at it. I'll put it that way. Because translation is a skill. It's different than just reading a book and for fun, because you're trying to then express this idea in another language. I'm not trying to express it in another language. I'm just like following along with it. Like in my case, I'm trying to just visualize it, which is, again, that's why I'm not really talking much while the show's going on, other than trying to, occasionally when I want to bring up a point. All right, again, let me just start again. I keep getting distracted, and it's my fault. It's nobody's fault but my own. All right, so finalize apoptosis.
そうやって依存したのは捨てられて死んでいくんだ。4日後8月15日、お前の死はこの世界によって決められている。避けられやしない。だが俺はそんなのごめんだ。俺は世界に抗う。マユリを必ず救ってみせる。
コインロッカー、大ビル前 IPN5100。
Okay, 220. Kurisu. Makise? Yeah, Makise Kurisu. Wait. So, no. Why am I not visual? I can't. That is hard to make out. Shinte. I can't read those kanjis. So.
岡部、どうしたの？
よし、これで
ストップ！コインロッカーに IBN5100 が？
萌歌が白状した。
Confessed. 白状。自分の confessed one's crimes.
まだ回収されていないようだ。
で？
決まってるだろ。こいつでロッカーをぶち壊して。
落ち着いて、よく思い出して。
何をだ。
今までのこと、何度 D メールを取り消しても IBN5100 は手に入らなかった。多分元の世界線に戻らない限り無理なんだと思う。そしてそのためには順番通りにやるしかない。
すぐ目の前にあるっていうのに。
少なくとも手がかりはつかんだ。桐生萌香は FB っていう人の命令なら従うのよね。その人がラウンダーの指揮官なんでしょ。だったら
That's command, right? Command center? Let's see.
IBN5100 を見張っていれば接触できるかもしれない。何しに来た？
私も FB に会いたい。
会いたくないんじゃなかったのか。会えば幻滅させると。
確かめたい、本当のこと。
確かめてどうする？
わからない。
俺がお前と一緒に行動すると思ったのか。
話が通じないやつではないか。
はあ？
どうしたの？
なんでもない。桐生萌香と一緒にいる？どうしてそうなるの？だってその人は。
とにかくそういうことだ。何か動きがあったら連絡する。
あ、ちょっとこら。まったく。
オカリ？
うん。どうしたの？
なんだか最近全然オカリンとお話ししてないような気がするなって。
Okay, here's a hate to break to you, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. But hopefully that's not like soon. Soon relatively. I know that was mean to say, because again, you watch his drama, you watch his anime, and she's just a very sweet little girl, you know, just being nice, not mean to anyone, and you see something horrible happen to her, you definitely feel bad. Whereas, so I understand that. I definitely understand the, because again, that's how it's, you know, set up to be. You know, you hate to see the innocence of the world hurt in any way.
助手のお姉ちゃんもトゥットゥルー。
What was that again? Twist. No, John. I should remember that because it's like bound up in a can, so it's like you know, you're making like a can of phone, telephones, tin can telephones. So maybe twisting the cord to make it, you know, tighter, so it.
クリスお姉ちゃんね。
おう。
どうも。昨日はすみませんでした。
岡部に家賃5000円アップって伝えといてくれ。
はい。
そういやあの野郎今日は見なかったな。体でも壊したか？バカは風邪ひかねえって言うけどな。
実験に使う道具を探し回ってるみたいで。
実験ね。たく幸せな野郎だぜ。学生風情が部屋なんぞ借りて。あんたらみたいな仲間がいて好き勝手やって。ほんと。好
き勝手。好き放題。No. Just do what you like. Whatever one pleases. 好き勝手。
幸せだぜ。
気にするな。好きにしろ。
だがよ。
お父さん、早くしないとタイムサービス終わっちゃうよ。
よし、行くかね。
バイバイお姉ちゃんたち。バイバイ。
今日の夕飯何がいい？
FB からのメールか。見てもいいか。M4 の判断は正しかったと思っているわ。正直な話、M4 ほどひたむきに頑張ってくれる人はいないわね。
ひたむき一つのことを熱中するさま、一つのことに一生懸命になるさま。ひたむき、ひたすらひたむきに頑張ってくれる
人は
M4？FB がつけてくれたコードネーム。
Mr. Brown? FB. No, can't be that. Okay. I'm saying, like, the only real characters we've seen now, like, that's been to make an appearance, like, obviously Mr. Brown, Nao's father. And something about his TV impacts time travel. We know that as well. When the TV's turned on, the time travel device works.
FB と私しか知らない秘密のあなたは確かに人付き合いが苦手かもしれないわね M4 でもそれはあなたの個性とも言えるんじゃないかしら
おふくろさんか
August 13th.
IBA の5100
じゃああいつが FB か
違う FB は
Okay.
女の人
後で説明する
Sure about Denzoku? Denzoku. Mr. Brown. Really?
ミスター・ブラウンちなみに運転は
ペーパー
安全運転で頼むあの男に見覚えは
見たことない
どういうことだ
4日後8月15日お前の死はこの世界によって決められている避けられやしない
Very quiet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Narita. Is he calling it Narita? Yeah. Okay.
フランス行きの飛行機セルンがある国か FB らしき女は現れなかったな
連絡くらいしろ
こっちも立て込んでいたんだ
私はいい でも真由里には。
そういえばもう随分話していないような気がする。
あの子もそう言ってた。
すまない。行くぞ。
え？
直接当たってみるしかない。
当たってみるって？
俺たちがよく知っている人間にだ。
Mr. Brown。
ん？おう、どうした朝っぱらから。もう上がれや。で、何の用だ。早速値上げした分の家賃6000円払いに来たってか。おいおい、そこはおめえ1000円増えてるじゃないですかって突っ込むところだろ。
お聞きしたいことがあります。
なんだよ改まって。
FB という人物についてご存知ですね。俺たちは全部見ていたんです。ここから IBN5100 が運ばれるのも。あなたをどうこうする気はない。俺たちはただ FB に会いたいんです。
See how he's talking too much? You gotta give him just a little bit and get that way. You're making sure they're not replying. They can reply with more than you know. If you tell them all you know, they're just gonna say, "Hey, that's it. Yeah, yeah, you're right. That's it."
教えてください。一体どこにいるんですか。
裏切ったようだな M4。
FB がつけてくれたコードネーム。 FB と私しか知らない秘密の。
まさか。
どういうこと？
フェルディナント・ブラウンって知ってるか。
ブラウン管を発明した。
フェルディナント、フェルディナント・ブラウンって知ってるか。
ノーベル物理学賞。
ブラウン管。Cathode ray tube, brown con, brown con. Physics and Nobel in physics.
さすがだな。その頭文字は
FB。 じゃあなたが。
嘘なの。嘘。
依存の次は現実逃避か。
The next thing you depend on your dependence on escaping reality. Okay, Genjitsu. Genjitsu Tohiか。
ナイが寝ている。場所を変えよう。この町もどんどん変わっていきやがる。
本当に FB。
ああ。
でもメールは
全部俺が書いた。なんで女言葉かって。お前を騙すためさ。お前だけじゃないぜ。他の奴らにもそいつが求めている人物像でメールを送ってやるんだ。
人物像、personal appearance、人物像、求めている人物像でね。
もっともお前みたいな奴が一番騙しやすくて助かるがな。
彼女との連絡を絶ったのは。
IBN5100 を手に入れた時点でそいつは用済みさ。だから 出た。ダイレクトメールでメンバーは集めんだよ。そういう奴らは扱いやすい。用が済めば始末もしやすい。もともと居場所がねえような奴らだからな。
あなたがセルンの犬だったなんて。
犬？
鈴葉は、橋田鈴さんはそんなことをさせるためにあなたの世話をしたんじゃない。
お前なんで鈴さんのことを知ってる？鈴さんには関係ねえ。鈴さんには関係ねえことだ。
だが
お前たちに何がわかる？
See what happens when you talk too much?
真冬のマンホールの中で寝たことあるか？
マンホール？真冬のマンホールの中で。
まだガキだった。コンクリが冷たくてな。骨に染み上がる。3日も4日も何も食べねえでずっと横になってると来やがるんだよ。ネズミが死体と間違えてかじりに。んな時さ、糸が垂れてたんだ。雲の糸。そしたら登るしかねえだろ。たとえ行き着いた先でこの手を汚すことになったとしても。そうやって糸を登って気がついたら操り人形だ。
That's pretty vicious. Keep someone tortured in the dark, feeding on rats. Give them those grab at any lifeline that's thrown at them. Now you realize they become a. It's kind of poetic in the way they describe that. It's dark, but yeah.
逃れることなんかできねえ。糸から逃れた人形は裏切り者には死ってやつだ。ま、任務を完了しても消されるが。犬って言ったな。犬なんてもんじゃねえ。家畜さ俺たちは。
Head of the house? 人間が生活を
逃げようと思ったこともあった。こんな俺にも大事なものができた。そいつを巻き込みたくねえって。だがよ、失敗は許されねえ。逃げようとすれば家族も。俺も失敗した。だが苗は何も知らねえ。俺さえ死ねば。
待て。
Yeah, it's definitely getting dark.
岡部、携帯デメール、岡部。
Wait for the Zettai. Yeah. Don't wait until you get it. Okay. Oh, I forgot to see the numbers. Sorry.
Okay.
57.57%. Getting closer. Getting closer.
萌えか。必要ないって。
はい、漆原です。今日はIBN5100？ それなら
あった。誰？
橋田ならいないわよ。コミマに行くって言ってたじゃない。
頼む、俺の願いを聞いてくれ。お？
なるほどね。前入りの死を避けるには、今私たちがいるアルファ。
Wait a minute. Oh, sorry. I forgot to even look.
俺のね。誰？
橋田ならいないわよ。コミマに行くって言ってたじゃない。
Oh, he time traveled. Never mind.
頼む、俺の願いを聞いてくれ。お？
なるほどね。前入りの死を避けるには、今私たちがいるアルファ世界線から抜け出し、岡部が一番最初の D メールを送る前の世界線、ベータ世界線に戻るしかない。
それにはセルンのデータベースにあるそのデータを消すしかないんだ。
マユシが死ぬとか、マネシが未来人で僕の娘とか、もし全部妄想だったらおかりんラノベ作家になれると思う。
そうだったら嬉しいが、
マキセシ信じるん？
仮説としてはね。
仮説？
できれば客観的データが欲しいところだけど、それはさすがに無理だし。
お前が作ったタイムリープマシンの出来はガチだったな。
そうって当然でしょ。
それに
何よ。
なんでもない。
何よ。
なんでもないって。
つなぎ終わったお。設定いじらないとダメだけど、10分もしないうちに始められる。
いじらない。Connection. I know EG, what I do is like a teasing or, yeah, tamper playing with. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. You know, I'm seeing this kanji more often, and you know, I should learn it. I keep forgetting it, but.
頼むスーパーハッカー。
スーパーハッカー。
最初の D メールか。それってあれでしょ？私が刺されてたとかなんとかっていう。それであんた私の体に触ろうとしたりして。
Well, she got shot or stabbed, right?
これまでの D メールを全て取り消し世界線を元に戻す。そこはセルンが支配するディストピアが生まれない世界線、マイリが死なない世界線、そしてその世界線でマキセ・クリスが死ぬ。
All right, so it was kind of what I kind of like about this is like it seems like right when you're getting the idea, it's like, hey, this is where the story going. They actually go to that point in the story. It's not like it's taken like this thing like you're starting to think like, hey, there's something up with Mr. Brown, you know, because FB, and he's the only guy who hasn't, you know, Mr. Brown, because that's just what Okabe calls him that. Then you start thinking something's up with him because he's the only character you know that's being showing up quite frequently, and there's something in his shop that has something to do with it as well. But obviously the thing in his shop had nothing to do with it. The TV that, if turned off, shuts down time travel. Turn it back on, time travel is possible again, or at least email is possible. Yeah, quite a few other things in that when you like you were kind of figuring out like the actually I forgot her name. Suzuha, like her parents, her dad at least is somebody like was either Okabe or it could have been Taru, and so I like that. It's like, so it's not it's not like, because you get a lot of anime that, and this is also, dramas are bad at this as well, where they drag out something like past the point of view, even almost caring about it, or they even worse are the ones that treat you like idiots, like they're you've already kind of figured out the twist, but they're still going to wait till the final episode to reveal, this twist was there all along. Well, yeah, we kind of knew that. It's like it wasn't that hard to figure out. It's like, I was the AI and I was doing the criminal app. It's like, yeah, okay, you're probably, that makes sense. Okay, that's no surprise there. Yeah, but this one isn't doing it. It's a fun anime. It's enjoyable. It's a fun story. I don't know if it would. Yeah, I could see it work. Because again, time travel shows are done now. They're not too uncommon. This is a different type of time travel show, so it's cool in that it's still kind of like a linear, it's like trying to tell in a linear way, but you got to keep it linear because it keeps changing the timeline. But what keeps it linear is the fact that this guy's memory is intact the whole way through, so you are following along with him. So if it's confusing to him, it's meant to be, because it's meant to be confusing to the audience, that sort of thing. So I in that way, it's enjoyable. And you kind of start getting to a point where you understand the situation right when he's about to understand the situation. Even going, not taking into concern about the whole sci-fi aspects, what they can, like Ferdinand Brown. I don't know who Ferdinand Brown. I didn't know that he was the inventor of the cathode ray tube, for example. Maybe at one time, if there was a TV show called Connections, one of the things was in the invention of the television. So all the steps that went into going into creating the television. That was so I remember that episode, but I forgot they said it invented it. My first time travel anime I watched was Doraemon. Okay, I guess, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, that's technically Attack on Titan is time travel. Technically, sorry to spoil it. They kind of give it away in the very opening panels, so that's not too much of a spoil. But again, it does happen. And it's not like time travel as you think about it, as you normally think about it. Then there's what else is there? I'm trying to think. I'm not thinking of too many anime dealing with time travel that I can think of. Because I only watched Dryman. In Dryman, it wasn't really. Yeah, the cat is from the future, but I never really watched many episodes of that. Like maybe 1 or 2. That's about it. The yeah, and of course there's Harry Potter's brief stint into the time travel. And in fact, I'm reading the book now. We'll be after this episode, after this particular anime is done, I'll be going back and finishing up Harry Potter book 3, the second half. And then after that will be Attack on Titan, as I was talking about, which is the first season, the first 25 episodes. And that's its final season that's coming up soon as well. After that, again, I'll be moving back into live-action dramas and regular Japanese novels. So first 2 sets of dramas I'm thinking of are Netflix dramas. Technically it's not a drama, but, you know, Boys and Girls in the... Not Boys and Girls in the City, but Boys and Girls Next Door or something. The very first... the first... Terrace House, like up to the first 26 episodes. So 1, 2, 3. That's 2 seasons, I guess. 13, so 26 weeks of those. Then also 30 episodes of Shinya Shokudo, so Midnight Cafe. Might do that. And then there's another drama I might even try, because again, Netflix may be a good, since it's like Kino Nani o Tabeta. That was actually kind of a fun comedy drama. Which my wife enjoys watching. I would like watching it with her, so, you know, maybe catch a few episodes of that as well. If I can get the subtitles downloaded for it. Then what else? Either that, but again, there are some dramas which I do look forward to watching that I have on the back burner. You know, definitely Tiger and Dragon, Gene, it looks good. Maybe I kind of don't want to, then again do. It's Train Man, Densha Toko. I couldn't really. I'm probably not going to do it because I didn't really. It was just aggravating watching. Like they were like stretching the story out too far. You know, there are some things where, you know, you don't need to fill up 12 episodes of a drama. You can probably do it all in 8. And that was one of the stories they could have done in just 8 episodes, but they, you know, stretched it out. And the lead actress wasn't that great, and the lead actor, he's an okay guy, but I don't know. I didn't find him likable. Like he was purposely feel like he was like making things more difficult than they needed to be. What else? But that's Densha Toko. But you know, there's that Gene. You know, Hanzao Naoki. Would like to actually get to that one. Then Byakuyaku. So that's a very dark drama. I want to do that. I might do Last Friends as well. I should do Last Friends just because. You know, this is the first drama. I think I usually say it's the first drama I watched in Japanese, but I've never watched it with English subtitles. That was the first drama that I did watch without English subtitles all the way through, and it was quite fun. There are some others that have done it as well. Yeah, and you know there might be some others as well. The reason why I want to pick those particular dramas is that they have drama transcripts. So I want to read, like I'm saying, read the transcripts, and not just the subtitles, but read the transcripts along with the dramas. And you know there is some mismatch, but for the most part it worked quite well. And yeah, it's just fun. It's just a fun read. Funny enough, though, I could do it where I can read the subtitles, and then when I run the, like I did this with Keikon Dekinai Toko, I just read the subtitles, but I put the transcripts into Morphman, and there wasn't really that big of a problem. So I might just do it that way, where I just read where I'm just reading the subtitles. I might try that. Time will tell. But part of me feels like, yeah, I should read it with the transcripts. Yeah, it just depends on what my mood is at the time. We'll determine that. And again, that's a very good website. When you go to, you know, you go to sensei.dramanote, so drama note, and you've only got a selection of dramas from 2004 to 2014, so limited. And even then, from 2011 to 2014, it's not in this. Someone had put together a page that was categorizing all the transcripts that were being written, but from 2011 2014 it wasn't categorized, so you got to find those separately, but it's not too hard to find. And but yeah, so that's 10 years of which, you know, if you can find the dramas, there are places you can find them, but if you do find them, then you can watch it while reading the transcript, and it's just a kind of an enjoyable way of doing it. If you've seen my previous Let's Reads, in that yeah, you're seeing the dialogue, cool, but then they're describing the scene, and the scene's playing out in the show. So it's kind of difficult to do at times, because you're, you know, like, when do you pause or whatnot when you're watching, because you got to pause to kind of catch up on the reading and then go on with then start it up again. So it takes it a little bit longer to get through, but it's fun. I have fun doing it. And the person who did the transcripts actually is not, I mean, I don't know if it's a talented writer or not, but again, they got better as time went on. So there's that, trying to describe the scenes. And if you've ever watched Netflix with the secondary audio where they're describing the scenes, it's like that, but you get to read it, which is really important for what we're doing. Okay, I think that's about it. What are we doing on time? So each of these episodes took about 30 minutes, so it's not too bad. If I were just, here's the thing, like, if I was just watching it through, not pausing, a lot of this stuff would have went over my head. I would have missed it. So I might have been missing some particular plot points. And there might have been some words that kind of forgot, like ijiru. So it's king and two hands. So just think of a king teasing someone with by spinning his staff in his hands, you know, whether he's going to kill them or let them go free or something. So that's an easy visual about playing with his subjects, or playing with, you know, teasing the subjects with life and death. So ijiru. Things like that. Ho-ho-in, you know, like it's Phoenix Academy or something. I don't know, Phoenix Institute, the Phoenix Institute. But ho is wind with bird, and then wind with emperor. And then those together make Phoenix. So it's not a very difficult kanji, but you know, if you ask a native Japanese person to write it, they probably won't be able to. So it's kind of the fun stuff you can get with these particular methods. So you kind of want to have a balanced build. So not only you want it to where your listening is improving, but your reading is improving, and then also your production is improving over. That will be dragging around slowly. So the reading and listening. For me, my reading's stronger, so that reading drags my listening along, because I'm reading to audio, so now it's helping my listening. There's that. And then hopefully what that'll do, that'll drag your ability to type something out and write and speak something out. But you still need to practice that. Hence, when I'm talking about maybe once a week, I'm going to, like, repeat what I hear. So I'm kind of mumbling along while I'm listening. I think if you see my lips moving while I'm reading, normally I don't like speak while I'm reading. I'm not that type of reader. Some people do it. It's not me. But because I'm hearing it, I'm trying to then say again as I'm reading along, kind of like repeat it. So that is shadowing, but not a very good form of shadowing because it's not out loud. But now what I'm going to do is like mimic. So, or repeat basically. So maybe about half hour once a week, a half hour once a week, just online do the whole listen and repeat. And this is going to be with something I had previously done, so I should be much more comfortable with because I had heard it so many times, that sort of thing. And then you know, build up and just slowly but surely build up to where I'm at now. It is what it is. Yeah. So thank you all very much. This is Nuke Marine. This has been Let's Read Japanese. It's Saturday, the 18th here, July 18th. So hopefully, if all goes well, I'll be back on Sunday, and then finishes up on Monday, and then come Tuesday, if all goes well, I'll be starting Harry Potter Book 3, the second half of Book 3 back up, and starting getting through those 11 or so chapters. And then after that, Attack on Titan. Cool. So I've got the plan. Just got to be consistent in doing it. Also got to make sure I'm consistent in my study, which I'm not consistent. So if I'm smart, in the morning, I wake up and stretch, do my 15-20 minutes of stretching, do 20-25 minutes of exercise, shower, maybe hold off on breakfast, make it more of a lunch, and then get into here and just start with the Let's Read. And then after the let's read, go with the study. Then after that, then worry about catching up on what's on the internet. So that would be, if that was my morning routine, I would be so much better than what I am now. But it's not, so I'm not. But in my mind, that's my morning routine I want to create. So hopefully I'll be able to get to that. And I know not everyone has the benefit I have, right? Again, I'm retired. I've got some income that's not related to me having to go to a 9-to-5 job. I got it. Even though I am starting to work on the process of doing my own business, which is not related to what this is. But there's that too. But even then, it most likely will be business that'll be in the afternoon, evenings, not in the morning. So I'll still be able to. It's another reason why I want to start doing it where I'm in the morning. It is got my own plan where I'm making use of it to improve my Japanese. Because if I do start another business up, that I tend to use that as an excuse not to study. That's happened to me in the past, so I need to be very careful about that. All right, because I've gotten this far, I'm still not where I want to be, and I don't want to fall back. Yeah. So anyway, thank you all very much. It's Nuke Marine, and thanks for watching. And hopefully see you when I see you. And it's coming up on the 22nd. I'll be able to use YouTube again for live streams. So I don't know if I'm going to stick with Twitch or not. There's some issues with. Yeah, I mean, it's probably easier to do YouTube because it goes straight from YouTube and it's already published. But again, YouTube is twitchy when it comes to taking down accounts where all of a sudden I can't do any live broadcast for another 3 months. It's happened. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thank you all very much, Nick Marine, and I'll see you when I see you.